We're at the Great Amead Library, the headquarters branch, with Barry Bradford, Tangipahoa's library director. And before we talk about the 2014 calendar of events coming up, and that'll start before you know it, I mean, what a marvelous facility that you have here.
We are thrilled with this building. It's. I think we enjoy it more than the patrons even, because it provides us with so many opportunities that we didn't have in our old facility. The technology and the space that we were able to actually design a building with the architects that's specifically for a library, which is something we haven't done a lot in Tangipahoa Parish.
One of the things I've learned too, I mean, you have two very modest millages here. For example, you get half the millage that they do next door in Livingston Parish to run the library system. So I mean, you're operating on about 5 mills. That's
correct.
Construction, that's operation, that's salaries, that's everything.
Yes, indeed. We find though that we were able to do quite a bit with our 5.81 mills, but it does make it difficult sometimes with capital projects to find the funds to do all these programs and to do these events and things that we plan, services, and at the same time have money to build buildings. It's difficult, yeah.
Well, good segue into the fact that you are, in the new year, going to start work on the Kentwood branch, which will be the next one to get a new building.
Absolutely. We've got our building program now. We're in the process of finding a site selection, and once we select a site and purchase the land, then we'll be working with parish government to try and find some additional funding, grants and so forth, to help us build the building.
What is your timeline on that?
I would love to have the land purchased and be have our grant solidified and in by the end of next year. Would love to have word back. Of course, when you're dealing with grants, you don't know what the timeline is going to be, but we're pushing as hard as we can. We want to go fast.
Let's talk about then more that's going to happen in the new year, starting in January.
We're excited about our African American Heritage Celebration, which begins in January. January 25th is our kickoff day. We'll honor an African American in the community who served the Tangipahoa Parish citizens. We'll give them a plaque and have a celebration in their honor. Then in February, we're going to have 4 programs called Equal Rights. This 4-part program will be led by an LSU professor. It deals with various time periods in which African Americans sought equal rights, through the abolitionists, beginning with them, through Jim Crow times, and all the way up to the civil rights movement in the 1950s and 60s. So we're excited about that. It'll be on Thursday nights in Hammond in February.
So really topical, and of course things start out with Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday in January.
That's right.
Leading on into the next month.
Yes, indeed. That's really why we choose to kick off around the middle to the end of January, is because we want to kind of move in right at that time when we're thinking about Dr. King and his contribution to our nation. And yeah, that's why we kick it off right then.
Well, and obviously in Hammond, we're fortunate to have a great African American museum, one of the best in the country, really.
Yes, and we are partnering with them. We actually met with them just yesterday about ways we can work together, not only for African American Heritage Celebration, but throughout the year. So they're very receptive, very happy and excited.
Well, good. What else can we look for in 14?
Well, we are also going to obviously have our Women of Excellence Award, which is the last Saturday in March. Again, as with African American Heritage Celebration, we select an individual in Tangipahoa Parish who has contributed and served the community in some way, and we honor them with a program. We will have obviously our ongoing programs, children, teens, and adults, and of course, by March and April, we'll be getting ready for the summer reading program again. So it just keeps going. We have it all year long.
Well, obviously, at the moment we're recording this interview, the holidays are upon us, but soon school will be back in January. And one of the things you offer all the time is help for kids. In fact, several ways to help kids in school.
Yes, indeed. We have a number of obviously programs. We start with very young children. We have a Baby and Me program. We have
what is that? Let's back up a second.
Baby and Me is kind of a lap sit program. The idea is that a child comes in, the parent brings the child in with them, very small children, 6 months to 3 years, and they actually sit in the parent's lap or caregiver's lap, and there's simple rhymes and finger games, that kind of thing that the parent does with the child, caregiver does with the child. And it's intended to help develop gross motor skills in the child, to spark their creativity, and to provide a bonding time. It's not just entertainment, it actually is part of the educational process for children. So it's a very important program. We start at the very young, with 6 months old. So Actually, we are adding an initiative as well, a literacy initiative, as part of that. And Bianca Roberts, our assistant director, has sort of headed that up and spearheaded that part of the project.
And Barry's right. Again, we have Bianca Roberts here, Assistant Library Director for the Parish Library System. Again, we're at the Great Amite Headquarters Branch. And boy, a literacy program that targets, am I correct in this, infants?
It does target infants, but we have programs for children from birth up to 12, 13 years old. But our Baby and Me program does target infants from 6 months to 3 years old. And it's to help with those early literacy skills, to get them to start recognizing that you read a book from left to right, that you have to turn the pages, which side is the right side, where's the front, where's the back, all those things that children have to learn before they're able to actually start reading.
What do you do with infants?
Well, what we do with infants, we have board books, which are smaller books that are more durable. They have very few words and lots of pictures. So a lot of it is starting with the child and pointing out, here are words, and these words go with the sounds that you hear coming from my mouth. So you point to the ball and you say ball, and you say ball starts with B, and the ball is red, and you develop all of those primary concepts that children have to learn.
Well, and also with the Infant and Me program you have, it's, I guess, teaching the moms some important things too.
It is also teaching the moms, because it's very important. A lot of parents are doing a lot of things to help their children develop these ideas and these skills, but if they only knew how important what they were doing was, they would be more decisive in doing those things. So we want to teach them, when you're riding down the street and the child looks at the arches and sees that fast food restaurant, you need to say, hey, that's an M, and that helps your child.
By the way, I hear that this infant and baby program is going to expand a lot in 14.
It is being revamped. All our libraries have been offering Baby and Me. We're trying to do a more concise version of it. So we're doing it in 9-week sessions. So each library will have a 9-week session, then they'll have a little break. The program will start off, the very first week is a training program, so that we do a workshop with the parent, with the caregiver, and the child to teach them some of these skills, to tell them about what they're going to learn as part of the Baby and Me program. And then the following 8 weeks is them actually interacting, learning how to pick the right books, learning movement activities, learning songs that they can do with their child anytime. And then at the end of the program, the child will graduate and receive a diploma, having completed the coursework.
When's that going to start?
That is going to start in January. This January, we're starting with Amite, Hammond, and Independence, and those dates are can be found on our webpage. And then in March, we will do a 9-week session with Kentwood, LaRondra, and Ponchatoula, and then we'll start over again with our first 3.
We're talking about Baby and Me, but what age are we having there?
We're 6 months to 3 years old. That's what's going to be for the Baby and Me. And the classes are also limited. It's 15 people per session, so that they really can get the full benefit of the program. So registration is required.
It's going on, at all branches?
It'll start off, it'll be 3 branches at a time, and it'll rotate throughout the year.
What else do you have in mind for the new year?
Well, we're doing a lot of the same stuff, but we're trying to come up with new programs that engage the community. We're also looking for ways to partner with the school system, so that there's a connection between what they're doing that's purely educational and tying into it, hey, you can have some fun and learn too. So we're trying to do both.
And again, Library Director Barry Bradford, you were talking about all the programs that are available for kids, help with homework, all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have online, our website I wanted to mention is www.tangilibrary.com, and through that website, it's really a portal. You can access homework help, which is something you just mentioned, where people can actually go online and get live help from a teacher through the web. And it's just one of many things we offer. We have a database that helps people prepare for GED, ACT, GRE, all kinds of ASVAB, many different tests. We have of course foreign language service online. We have free music downloads. We have audio books that you can download, ebooks you can download. It just goes on and on. It's too much to talk about really in one session.
But again, all these things are offered pretty much 24/7.
Only one database or service, Ancestry.com, you have to use at the library. Everything else you can access from home 24/7, as you say.
And you mentioned Ancestry.com, part of your big genealogy section you have here.
We do. Of course, we have our local history and genealogy department, and we have 4 different online services you can access. One is Ancestry that you have to use at the library, but there's Heritage Quest, which you can use at home, and also an African American Heritage database, which is specifically for African Americans doing genealogy, and an obituaries database.
So a lot besides books at your library.
Quite a bit. A lot of online material as well.